Hello guys, Gene here with G Squared Tactical. We're taking a look at the Fox Armory FXV22 Pro today. It is a micro red dot. We have reviewed several of their optics, well, two actually. One of them we mounted on a Uzi Pro, zeroed it at 15 yards, put it on the end of a Mossberg 940 JM Pro, and proceeded to put 25 rounds down range at the very end of the barrel, close as we could get it. Put it back on the Uzi and it was still holding zero. We've had nothing but good things to say about this budget friendly optic. It's given us no problems holding zero, no problems with lens scratching or breaking or hazing up or anything like that. So far we've been pretty impressed with this budget friendly optic. And I want to mention up front that they did send us this optic for review, and also they gave us a discount code G2 that's squared with a D, so that's G2 at checkout. Save yourself 10%. Amazon, whatever platform you choose to buy it on. I think the optic runs on Amazon right now for about $159. I checked it before I did this video, said they had 16 in stock. So run over there, check it out. If you like your video so far, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Go over and check out our website at gsquaredtactical.com. Pick up some gear, hats, shirts, cups, coasters. Got plenty of gear over there for you to pick up. Helps us a ton, encourages us. So let's get right into it. First of all, I like the small package that it comes in instead of these large gawky. Again, not saying that I don't like the Trijicon, the Leopolds, the EOTech. I do, but they come in these huge plastic boxes and there's almost nothing in there. Like in the case of Trijicon, there's maybe 2 screws, a sticker, owner's manual if you're lucky, and then the optic in this big old gawky box. So it's packaged very, very well, and I can appreciate that. You have your owner's manual. Obviously, I've been digging through this thing, so it's not packaged quite as well as it was when I received it, but I can appreciate a good packaging job. Someone take pride in doing that. I would hope they would take pride in manufacturing the optic itself. And so it did come with plenty of screws. Again, more than I can say for some of the higher end ones that I've purchased in the last couple of years. It did come with 5 sets of different screws with different nut diameters and effective lengths, all which are to be used with a T10 torque. And the set of screws that I am using that I found to work the best, it does not impede into my ejection spring or anything like that. They seem to work out just perfect for the 365 from SIG. This one happens to be chambered in 380. I'm sure the 9 would be no different. The ones that I used was the M3X, 0.5 on the spec, nut diameter 6 millimeter, effective length 12.5, and again the T10 torques. So 5 sets of screws came in the box. A nice cleaning cloth. This is a very large cleaning cloth, and again, more than I can say for some of the higher end ones that I've purchased as of late. Okay, did come with the tool to remove your battery tray, which is in the top, and the little Torx Allen key, if that's what we're going to call it, Allen wrench to adjust your windage and elevation. Did come with a filler plate or a wedge or shim or whatever you refer to them as. I believe I couldn't find anything in the product manual, but the writing is very small and I'm kind of blind these days. Maybe there's something there and I overlooked it, but I think, don't beat me over the head about this if I'm wrong, but this is used if you want to zero at a longer distance, which I will not be doing with a 380 pocket pistol. Essentially does come with a riser if you want to put it on your rifle, shotgun, whatever you want to put it on. Again, more than I can say for some of the higher end ones that I've purchased recently. Does come with a very, very tight, because it took me for freaking ever to get it off, dust cover with the Fox Army logo there on the side. So kind of get these things out of the way here. And again, just so everybody knows, I am using the, let's see, I'll put a picture up. There you go. So anyway, get the dust cover put over here. Now, so I just want to say this up front. I have found out the hard way in the past that you do not want to go with the torque specs that are provided in the manual of the Optic manufacturer, and the reason for that is because the gun manufacturer sets the torque specs, and I don't care how much you argue with me on that. I have called enough gun manufacturers to know that that is the truth. They set the specs for the gun slide, not the Optic manufacturer. So if the Optic manufacturer suggests or says that theirs has to be tightened down to 18 or 20 or some obscene amount of torque, then hey, they should have done better, done different, whatever. Because if the gun manufacturer does not recommend that on their slide, then we're not going to do that. So what I like to do is, since I did have a Romeo Zero mounted up here, we'll go ahead and take this down out there for everyone, so you know that it's safe and that you will not be shot through the camera. We will take it down here and just have the slide. So I did have the Romeo Zero Optic mounted up here, and I did have some Loctite on there. So what I typically will do is try to clean up the area around the screw receivers here, if you will, because sometimes some of the Loctite will ooze over into there if you get a little carried away, like I have a tendency to do sometimes. And even sometimes some people get so crazy with it that you have to take a toothpick or something like that to get all of the funk out of there that some people will get down in there. But it is very important that you clean all that up. You want it to lay flush on the slide, especially in the case of this one, where we will be direct mounting this on here. And so I got several screws or Q-tips over here, and I got a bottle of alcohol, and just going to make sure that our threads are clean here. I really don't like using Loctite, but in the case of this one, the manufacturer, Fox Army, recommended either 15 foot-pound of torque or to use 12 and a tad bit of Loctite. So I chose to go with the 12 and a tad bit of Loctite, and the reason for that is because 12 is closer to the spec that SIG recommends for their gun. So we are not putting a plate on here. We are flush mounting this Optic, and I do not have any issue with that whatsoever because it is super tight. So tight, in fact, at first I did not think that it was going to mount on here. It wasn't going to fit. It is super tight. There is literally zero movement laterally front to back, and so because of that, it will not move side to side either. So it's okay to be flush mounted on this slide, no problem. Anyway, again, like I said, it does take a CR 1632, if I had not already said that. Let me verify that I am correct on that. 1632. It is top loading, so you don't have to take it off to change the battery. It does have 10 brightness settings. 8 of those are daylight and 2 night vision. That's pretty cool. Again, definitely something you don't see on some of your more higher ends. Weighs in at 1 ounce. Shield RMSC footprint, as I have already mentioned. It does have a 2 MOA dot with a 32 MOA circle surrounding that dot, or you can simply switch it by pressing the plus and minus button on the side at the same time within 3 seconds of one another, and it will alternate between either just the 32 MOA dot, the circle or the 2 MOA dot, or the 2 MOA dot inside of the 32 MOA circle. So you can alternate between those 3 different settings. Now again, it says that if you choose not to use Loctite, to torque it to 15 pounds, or if you would rather just torque it to 12 pounds, to be sure that you use a little dollop of Loctite. I will say that all the screws already had a little bit of Loctite on there, but I will, for the sake of the video, add just a tiny little bit of blue Loctite, nothing permanent, to the threads of the screws. And because again, I don't really want to torque it to 15 pound, because the 12 with the thread locker is a little closer to the recommendation from SIG on the torque specs of their slide. So I decided to go with the 12 pounds and the Loctite. So typically what I'll do, I'm gonna run this down to about 10 here. And typically what I'll do is I'll run one side just so that it's not flopping around, because what I have had happen to me, that's a lot of H's, before, is that I tried to just kind of maybe do that right there, maybe 3/4 of the way, a little over half, third of the way down, something like that. And when I would flip it over on its side, or maybe knock it over accidentally in an effort to put the other screw in there, it come up off the post or something like that, and when I went to try to put the screw on the other side, the optic was going down on the post at an angle, and it jacked up the bottom of my optic. So again, just so it's not wobbling around, none of that probably makes sense to you guys, but what I typically do is I'll take it down till it bottoms out. I will not put any pressure on it, just simply take it down until it stops and bottoms out, if you will, on that one side. If you got a different way, great. I'm sure your way works too. These are fairly simple to do. That was just a big old bubble. Take a little bit of that off there. Again, the screws already had a little bit of Loctite on them, so you know, I'm not going to get too crazy excessive with the amount of Loctite that I put on there. So basically I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I am going to simply run it down until it bottoms out, and I'm not going to turn it anymore after it bottoms out. And so there we go. And then make sure this side is bottomed out. And so what I do is, again, you don't have to do this. If you want to torque one side to 12, come over, torque the other side to 12, I'm sure to be fine, but I'm a paranoid freak. I've mounted a lot of red dots in my time, and I have had some very nightmarish mishaps. So I just take every precaution possible. In the case of this, I'm doing 12 pounds, and so I'm going to start out at 10. I'm going to do the right side at 10, then I'm going to do the left side at 10, and then I'm going to bump it up to 12, and that's where we'll go back to the right side and finish it off at 12, and then the left side and finish it off at 12, and that's pretty much it. If you like the Optic, if it performs for you, if you can get it zeroed on the gun, you should never have to remove the Optic, because again, the battery is top loading, so you never have to worry about that at all. Again, it's a good looking Optic. It's got a good look to it. In a lot of ways, it kind of looks like the Fox Swamp optics, which is kind of ironic, I guess. But it is a nice flush fit. There is no light. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I can see no light through the slide, so it's a nice flush fit on the gun. Sometimes some of these cheaper optics, you can see light underneath the bottom between the slide and the bottom of the Optic. No such thing here. Very nice tight fit. Again, did come with the tool to change your battery and the adjustment tool as well. Can't wait to get this out to the range. Please stay tuned for that. We will. And also, this is the first gun that was ever given to the channel for review. Now, not given in the sense it was free, we had to send it back or pay dealer cost, which I think was $350, something like that for the gun. And because it was the first one we ever got as a channel, I decided to buy it and keep it. And so I'm not going to drop this gun on the ground, but what we did on the Salih video is we took the rubberized end of this and we tapped it like this right here, and people lost their ever-loving minds because doing that caused the gun or the Optic to lose zero. What is out there hitting it with a hammer? You know, well, I'm pretty sure if you pulled it out of your pants and it fell on the asphalt in a mall parking lot, it's going to be hit a little bit harder than that. So we will do that at the range on this one too, to see if it loses zero. And I hope that I don't have to take it off here. I'd like to keep it on here because I used the Romeo Zero on something else. Again, use our discount code. Go over to Amazon, search FXV22 Pro, and it will show up. It's $159, 16 of them in stock currently. And use our discount code G squared with a D, G squared 10, and go over and check out our website as well, gsquaredtactical.com. Pick up some gear. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Tell all your friends and family where they can find the best blue collar reviews on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and God bless.